Hello and welcome into the latest edition of ESPN FC. Kay Murray, Stewart, Robson and Nedum are here in the studio. It's a late one. We've been watching games for you and we have seen Germany secure their spots in the next round, going into the knockout stages for the first time since 2014. It was a late comeback over Ivory Coast and we got to see 2 goals from substitute Deniz Undav. We're now welcoming a man who has won it with Germany, Jürgen Klinsmann, joining us to react to what we just saw, a dramatic late winner, and Deniz Undav with the goals once again. Jürgen.
Yeah, obviously very, very late, but it finally came. I think it was an interesting game. I think Ivory Coast had more from the game, especially the first hour. They did more for it. They created more. They were physically above Germany in many occasions, and Germany struggled. They really struggled. But then Julian Nagelsmann did change with 3 guys, and especially obviously bringing in Deniz Undav from Stuttgart made the big difference. You know, he's a kind of an old school, typical number 9. His job is get us a goal or 2. And the second one came very late in the game, but he came, and obviously that pushes Germany through to the next round already. And we think, you know, so step by step, we can forget the 2 nightmares in Russia and then Qatar with the last 2 World Cups.
Let me stick on Deniz Undav if I can then, Jürgen, because that's 2 games for him now. He scored in both of them. In the first game as well, he also had 2 assists. There's been a lot of talk, a lot of German fans wanting this player to start. We know it's been well documented in the past that Nagelsmann had said that he's much more effective coming off the bench. Should he be starting when he's putting up numbers like this in the first 2 games?
Well, he absolutely creates his spot. I mean, he pushes, and all he can do is, you know, push even more and make the coach change his mind and bring him from the beginning on. I mean, we had the discussion throughout the entire year. We were not even sure if he brings Deniz Undav to the World Cup, Nagelsmann. Then thanks God he did then, and he's just an old school goal scorer. He's hungry for every opportunity out there. He doesn't need many occasions, and he's very effective. He had a brilliant season with Stuttgart in the Bundesliga, scored 26 goals, and is very effective also in the national team. Now, we all know that Nagelsmann, he prefers a little bit the false number 9 position of Havertz, and obviously Havertz did also a good job in most of the occasions. But I think he deserves it. He deserves a chance from the beginning on, but the tournament is still long. I mean, it will be a lot of matches still being played, and but I think he created himself now a very good case.
They had to fight harder for this win today than they did the 7-1 over Curaçao, Stewart.
Yes, they did, and Jürgen's absolutely right, because Côte d'Ivoire, Ivory Coast, were very good in midfield. They kept on winning the ball back. Wirtz was trying to turn with the ball. He got caught a couple of times. Same with Havertz. And Mecha got caught with the ball a couple of times, and that created problems for Germany. They went with a system where they played 3 at the back when they're in possession, and Brown was playing that bit further up on the left-hand side, and it didn't really click for them. And we saw that Sane never went down the outside. He always had to cut inside, and it just went into traffic. I thought it was a very tough game for Germany, and they did enough in the end to win, but it showed that some of their key players, their quality players, aren't quite on form at the moment.
What stood out to you, Nedum?
I think it was the way they were pushing on towards the end, and we can look at it from a German perspective, but I think also from the Ivory Coast perspective, towards the end of the game, we saw so many opportunities where, in transition, on the counter, if they were a little bit better, maybe they win the game. But in fairness, when they weren't taken out, I like the fact that Germany kept pushing on. And for me personally, that assist from Mecha, like, it's a top quality assist. And for Undav, I've got to be honest, like, if we're going to say that he's going to start, I don't know if he's best to start over Havertz. I'm not sure if he's best to start over Musiala, but what I would say, for his first goal, Havertz is in the box and he attracts some attention because of how big he is and how he can head the ball. So that creates the space for Undav himself. So maybe he's more of a compliment to Havertz.
And we are seeing lots more teams play with 2 up front. We saw Sweden not do it very successfully to start the game today. Yeah. But they did play with almost 2 up front at the end. So particularly when the ball went out wide, Havertz was making his run into the box. Undav was already there. So there is more of a threat when the ball does come in.
100%. And I'll be honest with you, like, nobody wants to feel like they're a super sub, because there's this sense that you should deserve to start. But the game state is always different when you come on as a sub. You know, against Curaçao, they were essentially broken by the time he's coming on. In this game here today, Germany, I felt, were able to create a few more opportunities. The game was becoming a little bit more stretched. You needed somebody to be in that position. if he would have started the game, would he have had the same sort of opportunities?
And who would he have started instead of? Would it have been Havertz or would it have been Musiala? Because you can't see either of those players going out and playing where Sané's playing. So that's a problem for Germany as well.
Yeah, because that had been what Nagelsmann had said. It was after a friendly against Ghana. Undav had come off the bench, scored the winner. He'd said afterwards, would he have been able to do that with 70 minutes under his belt and not being as fresh off the bench? Nagelsmann's partner said, maybe you need to walk that back, have a little talk with him. Maybe you're a bit too blunt with the media.
Maybe partners should keep out of it a little bit. There we go.
I think this is a good thing at the moment, though, right?
Listen, like Undav is at the moment being perceived as a super sub. He's like minutes per goal contribution is great. Well, we were looking at the scenes when they celebrated the second goal. Like someone like a Voltemada he's not first choice, he's not second choice. He's essentially just a fan at this point. You know what I mean?
Well, because Voltemada won't play up front when he's playing for Newcastle. He's a front player that almost drops into midfield at times. I mean, I think he's been asked to do that, but I don't think he actually wants to be that danger man in the box anymore.
I think obviously he's capable of starting. Like that speaks for itself, Undav, but he's in the sweet spot right now. You know, people are making this
wants
case.
him in the team. She's been promoted for a long time.
Well, there we go.
I've got to say I'm with many of the German fans there. OK, one thing I do want to talk about is how they overcame some adversity in this game, Jürgen. We did see in the first half they had the ball in the net, but 2 goals were ruled out for fouls in the build-up. You could see that Nagelsmann was a little bit frustrated as well. The fans were. They were whistling the referees. What did you make of those goals that were ruled out?
I think that was fine that they were ruled out. I think the referee was right. But you could see in the reaction of Nagelsmann that he was stressed out. I mean, he was very tense. Even at the end, you know, asking for the final whistle. You know, he was up 2-1. And then you can see, you know, what it means for Germany now to get through to the knockout phase, obviously with the second game already. When things don't go your way, I mean, you are under a lot of pressure, you are under a lot of stress, and and then you complain with the fourth referee on the sideline, you complain with everybody else, but you know, obviously you calm down now because you won the game, you already qualified for the round of 32, and it takes one game at a time, but there's a lot of stress on all these coaches.
Schlotterbeck went off injured, Rudiger came on. Is there a concern there for you if Schlotterbeck is to be injured and not to be available for Germany? Obviously, we don't know the extent of what it is right now, Jürgen. Yeah,
obviously we hope it's nothing bad, but even if Tah and Rüdiger, I mean, you know, Real Madrid centre back is jumping into that position, they should be fine.
So they have made it to the knockout stages for the first time since 2014. Since then, it's not been so nice for them or so kind to them as the World Cup. In 2014, they went on to win it. What are we looking at now with this Germany team? What are their limitations in how far they can go?
Limitations is a good question. I think it's always relative to the opponent that they face. I think I liked today the fact that they got over the line because it shows they can push and sort of put the quality in there. You want to have subs making an impact, and that's what we saw with Undav and others. But also, like, I think the Schlotterbeck thing, if he's going to be out for a while, is an issue because for as much as Rudiger is a Real Madrid centre-half, I like a left-footed player on that side. It sort of opens up the game in a different sort of manner because
he does hit those big diagonals out to the wide.
Yeah. Like, you wouldn't want something as simple as, say, an attacker to go and press a player to go onto their weaker foot to have a big impact at this sort of, like, world stage. But I was impressed with them. This might seem silly, but I was impressed with them with the 7-1 because they were clinical. They were really, really clinical. This was around the time when Spain had dropped points and I think Switzerland had dropped points. But they stepped up. It went 1-1. We thought, oh, maybe this is going to be a poor version of Germany like we've seen in years gone by. It was just goal after goal after goal after goal. And I think the mentality that they're going to be taking from this moment now, knowing that they've qualified and knowing that not many people are sort of having them on their radar as such. Like Germany as a dark horse is a terrible thing to be facing. So, I think the limitations basically will come down to who they're playing against, but the squad is right there, I think.
I think they're at the moment limited because on paper, I think it looks a very good side. But we're not seeing Wirtz at his very best. He's lost that little bit of confidence. When he's playing well, he zips past people and goes past them easily. He didn't really do that over the first 2 games.
Can he grow into the tournament?
He could grow into the tournament, so hopefully he gets better, he gets more confidence. Musiala was taken off today. You know, he's another player that goes past people so easily. Today he had the ball pinched off him once or twice, you know, in bad positions. And then you're looking at Sané. He's not really giving you anything out on the right-hand side in terms of creativity. Yes, he gives you width and they can get the ball out to him and he might pass it square and backwards. But the big issue I had today was the formation where when they're in possession, they've got a back three. and Brownie's playing higher up the field. When they lose possession, that switch of play out to the left-sided play. Diamonde it was today, and that's where the goal was created. Kimmich, I think, is a wonderful, wonderful central midfield player. I love him on the ball, but I don't see him as a very good 1v1 defender, and that might just cause them a problem in the big games.
How far can they go, Jürgen? How confident are you feeling?
I think they can go far, but obviously, I totally agree. I mean, they are by far not where they should be. I mean, certain players, you know, they're still trying to reach their form, reach their effectiveness. There's Musiala, there's Wirtz. I mean, the positive side certainly, and Undav when he comes in, you know, a very positive player emerged just now is Mecha as a number 6 role. Everybody's really, really happy with him. For Kimmich, as Rob said, it's not the ideal position. He's a number 6, and he has to help out because there is no better right back. So he has to help out as a right back, and so there's a lot of space still to climb for in the German side. But I think the positive thing about Germany has always been, you know, even if they start slow into the tournament or, you know, not ideal, and a lot of players maybe are at only 60, 70, 75%, when they go then more and more kind of into a rhythm throughout the tournament and reach their 80, 85 or 90% then towards the final stage of the tournament, then I think they're a serious contender. And this is what I can see in that team. There's a lot of quality there. A lot of players haven't reached their highest quality level yet, but there's a lot possibly still to come, and that's our hope. Let's put it that way.